Hey YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Thanks for joining me. So for those of you who joined me on my last update on Bert's tank, we planted one of the sides quite heavily. Like I said, we would come back and replant the other side of the tank, which we're going to look at doing today. So if this is something you're interested in, then please stay tuned. Without further ado, let's crack on with today's video. Hey everyone, so welcome back. So like I said, today we're going to be planting one side of Bert's tank. For those of you who've been following this channel, we did a video similar to this a couple of months ago, replanting one of the sides, as you can see. So the one side needs filling out, and I've got some plants here to do that. So I thought I'd bring you along to do this with me. So before we start, let's get Bert out of his tank and put him into a container, and we'll make a start. Okay, so this is a 15-gallon tank I've recently acquired along with two other tanks. They're currently in storage, so we have some future projects to get on with. If this is something that interests you, then make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the future videos, and hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of my recent uploads. But we're just going to keep Bert in this tank just for now until we clean his tank and add the plants, and then we'll put him back in. Okay, so now Bert's out of his tank, let's remove the glass and we'll make a start. Okay, like I said, for those who joined on the last video, we managed to plant a lot of the side of this tank, as you can see. But as you can see as well, there's a little bit of plant growth over there, but that side's looking pretty bare. So this is the side we're going to tackle today, and we've got some plans to do that. So I'm just going to grab the plants we need now, I'll show you how to prepare them, and we'll make a start on the planting. Okay, so I've selected the plants now, so as you can see there's a big pothos plant we're going to plant at the bottom. Hopefully it'll creep up the sides and fill the space out a little bit. We've got a couple of different types of bromeliads, as you can see, and we'll give those a go. I've also got some creeping fig, and there's more pothos as well if we need it, but we'll see how we go at first. Some of the plants are doing really well already. If you have a look at the pepermonia, we've already got some new growth, as you can see there. So that's looking to do really well already. So without me yabbering on too much, I think let's make a start with the planting. Okay, so before we make a start, I think it's important that we go through what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be removing the plants from the original pots and removing the original soil, and this just gives the plants a better chance of rooting out once they do. So by loosening up the roots, it does actually encourage the roots to root in again, which will help your plants settle in and help them acclimate. It is quite stressful for plants when you are replanting them and moving them, so just bear that in mind. But we'll try to remove as much of the original soil as we can, but don't worry if you've still got a little bit on there, it should work fine. So that's pretty much one done. As you can see, the roots exposed, and just the same with the next. As you can see, the new growth coming through there. It's doing really well already. So these have just been sitting in my rack. They've been under some LED lights, which do help the plants massively. Don't get some of the good colours you would on the bromeliads once I put them in here. But I might set up LED lights in the future, but something we'll look at again. So I'm just going to plant these in some cork tubes that we have in the back now, so I'll just show you that. Okay, so we're just going to plant them in those two areas there. Okay, so just add a little bit of soil around the sides now, just to help them stay in place and have enough substrate to get the nutrients. Okay, so that should do for now. Let's move on to the next plant. Okay, so just about to do a little bit more planting. I just noticed this new little shoot, so I'm not quite sure what it is. It looks like some sort of palm. So I haven't planted that in there, that's meaning it's in there somehow. So we'll try and keep that there. I'm just going to try and plant the big pothos plant behind this now, so I'll just show you that. Okay, so I'm going to try and plant it right at the back, try and encourage it to grow up between the branches out to the front and try and cover this area a little bit. So just make some space to plant it in there now. I'm going to try and plant this quite deeply because it is a big pothos plant, and just try not to disturb that new palm growth. Okay, so this is what we're planting. I'm going to plant this right at the back now, like I said. Just cover it over the substrate, and let's hopefully it grows and creeps out over this tank. Okay, so it doesn't look the best at the moment, but I'm hoping it will grow up through these branches and start to fill out a little bit. But I'll be doing a progress video on this very, very soon, if any of you are interested. So if, as I said, if you're not yet subscribed, then please do. Okay, so just found a perfect spot for a bromeliad, so we're going to be planting this. Can you see? There you go. Right at the back, hopefully that'll root in and attach itself to the background. Okay, I think that looks pretty good there. Oops. Okay, so we're going to plant a sword type bromeliad now, right up in the gap in between the wood on the background. So as you can see, beautiful red flower. These will grow quite large, so I'll probably need to remove it at some point, but I'll do it here for now. Push it in there nice and tight so it doesn't get removed. I'll just keep an eye on that one as it develops, just to make sure it doesn't get scorched by the heat lamp, but I think it's quite a nice spot there for it. Okay, so I've got quite a few cork tubes in here to use as planters, really handy and obviously a lot more natural than using plant pots. I'm just going to put some higher tricolour in the empty space now. Okay, so I'm going to add a bit of creeping fig in the back here. This is a plant I never have much luck with. It's one of the plants that people advertise as the easy beginner plant. I've just never been able to keep it alive. As you can see here, this is my last attempt. Not very good, so we're going to try planting this somewhere completely different and see how we get on. And as I said, I'll be doing an update on this shortly so you can see whether it's successful or not. Okay, so being clumsy as I am, I managed to snap off a piece of this, but I'll replant it now and it should come back. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of ground cover now just to bring the background to the foreground. So we'll just make some room to plant, make some space. I think it'll be a nice spot here. Get it nice and deep. Just cover it back over, push in nice and tight. Okay, hopefully those do nicely there. Right, we just have a couple of small bromeliads to add and then we're done. We'll have a little bit of a clean spot check of the tank, clean the glass and then put Bert back in. Okay, as you can see, so we finished planting. Do apologise, the battery did die as I was planting some of it, so I didn't want to rip them back out and replant them, so we'll go over those in a bit more detail and show you exactly what we've done today. Just before we do that, I think we need to get the tank ready for Bert to go back in, to get him out of that tank for as little time as possible. I'm just going to clean the glass before we do that, re-add it, and then we'll give the plants a good watering, making sure they've got enough water to root in, and then we'll put Bert back in his tank. Okay, so now the glass is back in, the tank's all clean, we've finished the planting. Let's just give them a quick water to help them root in, and then we'll put Bert back in his tank. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the plants we planted today. So we've added some bromeliads. So hopefully those are rooting to the background now. I've also got a nice brightly coloured bromeliad right at the back there as well. It probably won't stay that colour, it'll probably go slightly greener now that's been removed from the LEDs. If you have a look at this one here, this one was that colour when I put it in because it's been under the LEDs in my growing rack. But as you can see, it's gone back to a green coloration now, which is fine. But in the future I might be getting some LED lights to help with those. There's another bromeliad right there, it's a nice solid bromeliad. And then we've got finally there. And we've also added some foliage plants in as well for some ground cover, like this pothos. So hopefully this will grow through the roots and the branches and help fill out the tank. We've also added some ground cover over here as well. Didn't have much luck with this plant in the past, so I'm hoping that we've found the right spot for it now. But going back to the plants we looked at last time in the last video as well, like this arrowhead creeping, that's actually doing really, really well. And all the plants we planted in the last setup are actually doing fine. We've actually added some creepers up at the top here as well, with a nice tricolour there. And I've added some creeping fig right at the back. So as I said earlier, never much luck with this plant. It always tends to die in any of the setups I use it in. So I'm hoping we found the magic area and it actually thrives where it is. I've actually added some more pothos right back there as well. As you can see, the peperomia we did add in there. It's actually being covered by the pothos right now. There you can see. And one there. But overall, I'm really, really happy with how it's turned out. As you can see, this side has started to fill out a bit more. Obviously we're waiting for the pothos to actually creep out and climb up to fill out even more. But as you can see, that's exactly what happened on this side. But again, you know, it is a waiting game. I'm not going to stuff thousands and thousands of plants in there because they're not going to have room. They're all going to be competing with each other. At least this way then I can take some out or add more in depending on what's needed. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this tank. So if you do have any thoughts or any suggestions or any questions, then please don't hesitate to comment in the section below. I'm always trying to get back to everybody I possibly can. But if you would like further updates or more regular updates on any of these enclosures or my animals, then please go and check me out on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. I update on there daily as well. But again, if you'd like to make sure that you catch all my videos, and hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss any. But I think now Bert's probably had enough in that 20-gallon tank, so we'll remove him now and add him back in. Okay, as you can see, he's dying to get out. So let's get him out of this tank now, see if he'll cheer up. Come on then, Bert. As you can see, he's got a little bit of stuck shed in his shed the other day, so we'll peel that off him in a minute. How you doing? What? Look! Okay, let's put him back in. I think he's had enough stress for one day. I'll probably try and take that skin off him a bit later on when he's calmed down. Okay, come on Bert. No, not the sides. No, not the sides. There we go. Okay, so there he is. Knows something's up. But I think this looks a lot better. Like I said, I'll keep you updated on how this setup's going, how Bert's doing, with a future video. But if you have any suggestions on things you'd like to see me covering in this room going forward, then please add your suggestions in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to try and add those to my list. But I think that's enough for today. It wasn't intended to be a long video, but it probably already is. So that's a big thanks from me, and a big thanks from Bert, and we'll see you next time.